Okay, so today I thought I'd take a shot at explaining how the numbering system works in music. Everything's based on the octave. So wherever you have a note, let's say we have this open D string here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get what's called the octave. A note that has the same name, so if this is a D, this is going to be called a D, but is higher in pitch. So here is the ringing of this note, and then pressing down on the 12th fret, you get this note. Clearly two different notes, but they have the same name. Think of it as last names. This is Bob Jones, this is Henry Jones. They're both Joneses, but they're different. They're unique individuals. Mathematically, it's very interesting because whatever this number is, whatever frequency this is vibrating on, however fast that string is going, wah, 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 wah. When I press it down here, wah, 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 it's now vibrating exactly twice as fast. Interesting phenomenon no matter where I put it. So let's say I put it on this C sharp here, then I gotta find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that C sharp should sound the same. So it's gonna vibrate exactly twice as fast as whatever number of times it vibrated over here. So when you have two notes an octave apart and you fill in steps that it can go by, you have scales. Obviously, you can have different patterns. Like you could have this kind of a scale where you have a very even set of patterns like that. And that would be called a whole tone scale. It's a legitimate scale. And used a lot in jazz, probably movie music as well. If we fill in everything entirely, here's another whole tone scale. Put two whole tone scales together like that so they intermesh, and you end up with the chromatic scale. So because this is a C sharp and this is a C sharp, we could call this the C sharp chromatic scale, but this could also be called a D flat, right? This is a D flat because it's just below the D note. It's a C sharp because it's just above the C note. So it has a choice of being called C sharp or D flat. If it's called D flat, this is the D flat chromatic scale. So the thing about the chromatic scale is that there's no difference from one note to the next in the distance that you've jumped. We've always only jumped what's called a half step. The whole tone scale shows you what whole tones are. These are whole tones when you're skipping a fret. If you're not skipping a fret, you're a half tone. The chromatic scale is half tone, 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 half tone. That's its formula. So going from, say, from this note to this note would feel pretty much the same as going from this note to this note or from this note to this note, right? The only thing that would make it different is if we were to think about it as we should, how does it sound in relation to what we call the tonic? We're calling this the tonic right now. The tonic of this chromatic scale is C sharp or D flat. Okay, but the numbering system is based on a particular abstraction of the chromatic scale. In other words, we take some notes out and we leave these particular notes here. Okay? Unlike the whole tone scale, the steps are not all the same. Some of them are half steps, some of them are whole steps. These whole steps or half steps could be anywhere. You could have the half step here, you could have another half step here, but whatever combination you come up with, you need to have this particular combination here to get a major scale. This is called a major scale. If it has this format, from tonic to tonic, we're going to go a whole step to the 2. This is going to be number 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 1. So a whole step to the 2, a whole step to the 3, a half step to between 3 and 4. That's one of the significant features of the whole tone scale, is between 3 and 4, you have a half step. 4 and 5, whole step. 5 and 6, whole step. 6 and 7, whole step. That's another feature of the major scale that you really want to keep in mind, is that from 4, 5, 6, 7, those are all whole tone jumps. This is the longest stretch of whole tone jumps that you get in a major scale. And then you have another half tone step from 7 to 1, okay? So far that's easy. Each one of these notes can be assigned a number. And the reason that we do that is then we can use that feature no matter what key we're in. Let's say we're going to be in the key of E. Okay, and I'm going to put the key of E right here. There's an E note, and I'm going to match this pattern. So we're going to go from E to E, and we're going to create the E major scale. All right. Whole step to the 2, whole step to the 3, half step to the 4, whole step to the 5, whole step to the 6, whole step to the 7. Okay? It's the same pattern, therefore it's a major scale. This one started on C sharp or D flat, so this was the C sharp D flat major scale. This one starts and ends on E, so this is the E major scale. Okay. Now, if then I say, what is the fifth of the scale? You just count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth of that scale. What's the fifth of this scale? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the same. Okay. So this distance will always be considered a fifth. This distance will always be considered a third. This distance, a fourth. This distance will be considered a third. This distance will be considered a second. Oops. Then from here to here is a sixth, and from here to here is a seventh, and from here to here is an octave. Okay. So whenever we're describing the scale, we use this as our template. So if we get a scale where suddenly we have this happening, where this third has moved over here, there's 1, 2, 3, we say this scale now has a flat third, okay? Or if the 2 comes down here, we say that that has a flat 2. Or if the 2 comes up here, we say that that has a sharp 2, okay? Here, this 4. 4 comes up here, that's a sharp 4. 5 comes down, flat 5. 5 goes up, sharp 5. Okay, so it's always in relation to this distance, how far it is. You can see that if we have this E major scale here, but we flatten the 5, this distance is shorter than here, where we still had the natural 5. Okay, so those these distances have to be imprinted in your brain, right? So a major 7 is this, a major 6 is this, a perfect 5th is this, a perfect 4th is this, a major 3rd is this, a major 2nd is this. Notice that I said major for each one of these, but for these ones the fifth and the fourth, I said perfect instead. I don't say major fifth, I don't say major fourth. It's for reasons that are too cumbersome to go into right now. The fourth and the fifth are called perfects, whereas the others are called majors. The 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7 are called majors, okay? So for each of those, if we turn them into minors, we just make it smaller. So if we want to see what a minor second looks like, we just move that down. So that's a minor second. So we can see that there's a minor second between the 3 and the 4. There's a minor second between the 7 and the 1, right? Okay, but first of all, let's see now how chords are shaped, okay? Let's take this E scale away here. If we're forming chords, we could take any combination of notes and it makes chords, but there are some what might be called primary or principal chords in every key that have certain structures. So for instance, we can make a note off of a chord off of each of one of these by making each one of these be number 1. So if this is number 1, we're going to make chord by making this 1, not taking 2, take 3, not taking 4, but take 5. Okay, so that's called a triad. You notice that the distance from the 1 to the 3 is longer than the distance from the 3 to the 5. Okay, so that makes this a major chord because it has a big 3. All right. Now, if we want to find out what kind of chord we have off the 2 chord, we do the same thing. We make this our 1 now. So even though it's the second scale degree, it is now the number, it is the 1 of the new chord. We want to see what the 2 chord is like. So this is 1, skip 2, take 3, skip 4, take 5. That's our second triad, okay? It's reversed, where before we had a big third and a small jump from the 3rd to the 5th. We now have a small jump from the 1 to the 3 and a big jump from the 3 to the 5. This is the 1 of the 2 chord. This is the 3 of the 2 chord. This is the 5 of the 2 chord. Together, they make a minor triad. So the 2 chord is always a minor triad, no matter what key you're in. Right? So if we were back in our key of E up here, back in our key and we wanted to look at the 2 chord, then this would be the 1 of the 2 chord. This would be the 3 of the 2 chord. This would be the 5 of the 2 chord. And the 2 chord will be a minor chord. So if this is E, this is F. So this is F sharp. So the 2 chord in E is an F sharp minor chord. Okay. The 3 chord is going to have the same relationship, short, long. So the 3 chord is a minor chord as well. The 4 chord is going to be just like the 1 chord. Here's our fourth note. The first jump is going to be a major third. Second jump is going to be a minor third. Okay, so the sort of key idea here, the key possible point of confusion is that notes can be numbered from as their scale degree, or notes can be numbered as their chord degree. To find the scale degree, you simply make a major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 again. But to find the chord degree, whichever one of these becomes 1, whichever one of these becomes the chord that you're trying to play, that number becomes 1. So if you want to play a 4 chord in the key of E, you take this A note here, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, make that your 1, skip the B, take this C sharp, that becomes your 3, and skip this note, and there's your 5. Okay? So you can see that the 4 chord in the key of F is an A major chord. A, C sharp, E. All right. The chords can get way more complicated than triads, but that is the system that everything is based on.